Okay, so when we're little, as a kid, we're often asked what college we want to go to, what we want to become. And often our answers are, we want to go to Harvard, Yale, Berkeley, USC, UCLA, one of those big schools. But when you're growing up, you kind of realize that you have to pass that test to get into those universities. You have to earn it. But as you can see, all of us, we're kind of sitting here right now. I'm sure we have bigger dreams, but we're kind of here at a two-year college. And a two-year college is a great place to get your education started because of the tuition-wise, you're saving money, and because of you want to go into military first or work first. And those are good reasons to be at a two-year college, but a lot of the students kind of end up at a two-year college because they did not get into a four-year college, and they want to still try to get to those colleges by transferring. And one of the biggest reasons why they did not get accepted to those four-year colleges is because of their poor SAT and ACT scores. That's why I'm here to say SAT and ACT tests should be an optional test for students to show their universities, the university of their abilities for their educational reasons, and not a standardized requirement to get into those all of the universities. And many students usually start out to get good scores for their SAT and ACT tests during their junior year, and may not focus hard on current subjects that they are taking during those years. And SAT and ACT tests should be optional because of the cost, mostly stress, and because of the other alternative ways to improve college admittance. So where did this SAT and ACT test come from? According to PBS, SAT reasoning test was first found during World War I by Robert Yerkes. Robert Yerkes, a leading member of the new IQ testing movement, he had persuaded the U.S. Army to let him test all of the recruits for the intelligence. Then in 1926, Carl Brigham, a young psychologist and Yerkes' assistant, used it as a few college admissions tests for those colleges. And then in 1934, Henry Chauncey took that test and used it as a scholarship program for Harvard, and a year later, Harvard required all of their students to take SAT to get into the school. And by 1952, most schools were using SAT for standardized tests with the current structure of the SAT that we take right now. And in 1960, all of the University of California system begins requiring the applicants to take the SAT. And as you guys all know, that SAT requires three major sections: critical reading, math, and writing, which takes about approximately 4 hours to take. And it's 2,400 for the full points, and you lose a point if you lose 1/4 of a point if you miss a question. And it is very popular in the East and the West Coast. And then let's go to the ACT. And according to the ACT.org website, ACT is an American college testing program, and it's a content-based test. It was first formed in 1959, which was kind of based from SAT, but it became SAT's rival. And it has 5 major requirements. It has English, math, reading, science, and optional writing part. And this also takes approximately 4 hours. And unlike SAT, math formulas are given during this test. And it is 36 points for the full points, and you don't miss any points if you get the question wrong. And you can always leave the question empty, and you'll just get 0 for it. And it's more popular and required in the Midwest. So the cost for these tests, ACT right now, according to ACTstudent.org, it costs about $49.50 for the plus writing part. And SAT right now costs $49. The PSAT costs $14. And to prep for these tests, like we want to buy those books from the bookstore to study off of them, and those books cost from lowest $10 up until to $150. And I understand that low-income students, they can get their fee waiver and be able to take these tests for free, but that only requires them to take them only one time, and most of us want to take it once, twice, maybe 3 times. If you add those scores up, or add those costs up, it's gonna end up costing $100, $150, maybe more. And those students that are in low-income areas will choose to go to the 2-year college on their choice, and who are willing to study. The students that are in the low income, who are willing to study in the 4-year college, don't really have the chance to take more of the SAT and ACT tests because they don't have the money to. So not only the cost of the exams can be a problem, but also stress can be the biggest problem to high school students regarding these exams. First is time of testing. And these tests are offered at early in the morning, about 8 a.m. for 4 hours straight. Studying till late at night gets students tired for early 8 a.m. exams. And taking a test for 4 hours in high school setting is tough because most high school students are not used to this kind of setting. And another stress is that students get really stressed out about not being admitted to the schools of their choice. According to CNN, when they interviewed Jen Wang, she's a freshman. She's a freshman at Connecticut College, and she's torn on the SAT debate, and said that the test sharpened their vocabulary and her test-taking skills, but preparation took a lot of time that she could have been spending time on other things more than the test. And for my personal story, I really wanted to get in. My personal goal from middle school was to be able to get into UCLA, and I came from the Midwest. So I had to take the SAT and ACT. In growing up in the Midwest, these tests weren't really hard. It wasn't as a big deal as people make it here. I guess that's what I got. The feeling that I got here were that people, they take classes for it. They study so hard to get a really good grade on SAT, and I understand, that should be how it is. But in the Midwest, it's more about focusing on your extracurricular activities, getting to honors programs, taking more AP classes, higher education, honors program, those kind of stuff. And so I focused more on my honors class, getting good grades, and then doing social work. And since I focused more on those, I didn't get a really good score on ACT and SAT. And in the year 2009, according to University of California, the president from the office said that out of the 66,265 students accepted, 88.5% were from California and 7.6% was from out of state. And I understand this because they didn't know how the high school settings were done in out of state other than California. And there could be those great high school programs that are offered out of state that California, UCs, or other, not even just California, but other states may not see because it's out of state. For me, I spent my whole 4 years of high school being a full-time student. I didn't take any of my senior classes off, to go home early or anything like that. I graduated with high honors with 3.9 GPA. I was involved in 12 different activities with 4 different office positions, and I did this so I can get into UCLA. But then because of my SAT score, I felt like I didn't get accepted because they weren't able to see how I have progressed within 4 years rather than just taking tests for 1 day. Another reason is that once you get to the university, 4-year or 2-year college, we have to take the placement test to get into those classes that we have to take. And once you're into those classes, we end up relearning every single thing from step A to whatever. Especially for math, English, and science, we start from basic formulas and we're restarting all over again. I'm pretty sure you guys have relearned basic formulas for stats, biology, chemistry, English 100. It's kind of repeating yourself all over from high school, but kind of focusing on the areas that you need to study for. So, how can we fix this idea of taking the SAT and ACT out as a requirement? There are pros of the SAT and ACT test. It is a standardized test that gives an equal opportunity to show their general knowledge to the universities. But if we're required to relearn the same thing in college, why test students all at once in 1 day?